It's on, but it needs to be cranked all the way down. Yeah, again, penny wise, pound foolish.
Bill told me to put it in. Bill told me. Yeah, he's gonna move on. So I'm gonna take his seat. Oh, John's computer.
You need to crank it all the way down.
Leave the doors open. There's a fan. Here, I think that's the last one. Leave the doors open.
Is it warm enough up here for you, Casey?
All day.
Jesus. Goodness. Crazy. This board is so hot. If the sun was out right now, it would be almost unbearable.
No air movement.
Yeah, you know what? Every time I look at this, I'm like, this was built in like, what, 88, 89 time frame? Like, wasn't central air in existence then?
Okay, thank you.
Who is this?
I just turned it back
Electric
down.
sounds from St. Michael's.
What's that?
It's not on the
No, public house.
We didn't turn it
public comment, and it's not on our agenda tonight.
Turn it down. So we did. You feel it already?
Give it a second, it's gonna change. It's up and down. Everybody's got an opinion.
Did you ever hear that? Did you ever hear that joke about the?
Of all of the places that
Did you ever hear that joke about the father that was in a coma unresponsive, and then one way to get him out of it,
give it to you, and we'll give it to 350.
just say when the kids are touching the thermostat. Don't touch that thermostat. That's how it is. I don't yet. So, yes.
You're not gonna sit up here with me?
Oh, no. You're a young thing.
Hello, trustee Garrison. Good. Kind of losing my voice.
Uh-oh. Have some water.
Thank you.
Margie, I didn't see you.
Wait, Carol and Mike?
we have a quorum?
We have a quorum. Wait on Carol.
Okay.
I think there was a roll call, something like that. I didn't get one. I never got.
Call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Here.
Trustee Dodge. Trustee Gira. Trustee Rusick.
Here.
Trustee Calandrella.
Here.
Trustee Carroll.
Here.
Mayor Peacock.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the June 4th, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of June 4th, 2018.
Second.
Any changes? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge. Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Approval of the June 6th, 2018 special meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees special meeting of June 6th, 2018.
Second.
Any changes? Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Approval of the June 11, 2018 special meeting minutes, strategic planning.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Gira.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees special meeting of June 1st, June 11th, 2018.
Second.
Any changes? Call the roll.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
St. Michael's Church raffle license.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve issuing a raffle license to St. Michael's Church to sell raffle tickets during their St. Michael Fall Fest beginning Thursday, September 13th, 2018 through Sunday, September 16th, 2018.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
St. Francis of Assisi Church raffle license.
Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Gira.
I move to approve issuing a raffle license to St. Francis of Assisi Church to sell raffle tickets from June 25th, 2018 through November 3rd, 2018 at their church located at 15050 South Wolf Road, Orland Park.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Community Pride Award, 1,600 meter state track champion.
So I'm going to come down for this. So Dylan Jacobs, if you'd like to come up. I'd like to congratulate Dylan for an outstanding achievement. Dylan goes to Carson High School, and he won the state championship in the 1,600 meter race with time. Won by 8/100 from second. So how far was he behind? And he will be going to Notre Dame to continue his running career. Nice. Congratulations. On, an outstanding achievement, and also best of luck to you in college.
What's whistling?
Community Pride Award, Evans Scholars.
Dylan has a lot of fans.
So I want to take the opportunity to congratulate some Evans scholars. And first, what I really want to do is to tell everyone and give everyone a background of the Evans Scholarship, which is named after the Western Golf Association. The first scholarships were awarded in 1930, and the first Evans House was built in 1940 in Northwestern, so it really has a big Chicago influence. This has grown to 14 schools that have Evans houses, and the University of Illinois has the honor of having the most Evans alumni, 1,263, and the highest number of current scholars, 125. So a big Illinois presence. It's a full ride scholarship, tuition, and room board, given to college students who exhibit the following characteristics. They're strong caddies, they have excellent grades, they exhibit financial need, and they demonstrate outstanding character. Since 1930, there have been 10,617 men and women graduate as Evans Scholars. Currently, there are 965 Evans Scholars attending schools, including 270 that were awarded this year. The cost of these scholarships, to put it in perspective, is $20 million per year. Tonight, we are here to honor 5 caddies. They caddied right up the street here at Crystal Tree Country Club here in Orland Park, who achieved this honor. I believe that's a record for Crystal Tree. Yes, it is. Before announcing them, though, I would like to thank Crystal Tree, the country club, and its members who support the Evans Scholarship Program extremely strongly, and then also 3 WGA directors that are here with us tonight with strong ties to Orland Park: Bob Kelly, Brady Voss, and Larry Hickey. So thank you very much, gentlemen. It's all the work that they do that help all of these students, 270 of them nationwide, but in particular 5 in Orland Park, which I'm going to take the time right now to announce each one individually, so if you come up. And this is the order that's on the sheet. So, Bo Manning, he has a 3-year scholarship to Ohio State University. Ronnie Inesco. He has a 4-year scholarship to the University of Wisconsin. Connor Lima has a 4-year scholarship to Northwestern University. Connor Noonan, who has a 4-year scholarship to the University of Illinois. Last but not least, Cormac Lee, a 4-year scholarship to Marquette University. So a big round of applause to all these gentlemen. Congratulations to all of the best of luck in college.
Congrats, guys.
Mr. Mayor, before Mr. Hickey and the directors go, we should probably salute them, because I know myself as a 10-year kid at Crystal Tree, these directors work hard to get these kids scholarships. And I don't know how many scholarships are under your belt, Mr. Hickey, but I'm sure it's a lot of kids who change their lives. So I think we should give a round of applause to all the directors.
And if you'd like to add something, go right ahead.
Just one brief thing. We have just over 40 scholarships, Evans scholarships from Crystal Tree over 27 years. And it's a pretty good record. And I want to thank Mayor Keith Peacock, Board of Trustees, and all the people here for taking time to honor these, the future leaders of our country. And that's what we are. We have the future leaders of our country. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for all you do.
Consent agenda?
Consent agenda. Item A, payroll, June 1st, 2018, approval. Item B, accounts payable for June 5th through June 18th, 2018, approval. Item C, 2017 annual treasurer's report is required by Illinois statute, acknowledgement. Item D, insurance brokerage and consulting services, approval. Item E, prevailing wage required to be paid to workers employed on public works projects per Illinois state statute ordinance. Item F, exclusive event management company approval. Item G, LaGrange Road irrigation system startup, shutdown, and maintenance bid award. Item H, Riza Porsche of Orland Park. Are there any items to take off the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Ruzick.
I move to remove item D from the consent agenda.
Are there any others? I will remove item F and item G from the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
I move to approve consent agenda items A through C, E, and H.
Second.
The motion to approve items A through C, E, and H has been moved and seconded. Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Ruz.
Aye.
Trustee Calendrello. Aye. Mayor Pica.
Aye.
Insurance brokerage
Mr.
and
Chairman.
consulting services.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
move to approve awarding a 2-year contract with the option to renew at the village's discretion for 1 additional year to the Horton Group for insurance brokerage and consulting services related to the village's liability, property, and employee benefit insurance programs, and the amount not to exceed $87,000 for each of the first 2 years and $84,125 for the third year.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
I will abstain, as I have in the past, for the reasons I've stated.
Trustee Calendrello.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
I will abstain as I will going forward, as I've had a business relationship both as a customer and a customer of theirs since 2003.
Exclusive event management company approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calendrello.
I move to approve contracting with Double D Booking for the 2019 concert, Centennial Park West concerts based on budget approval.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? So Joe, Manager Lamargo, Director Flores isn't here tonight?
Yeah, but I could
Okay,
probably speak.
all right, great. So I took this off. I understand that we talked to them, we talked to some other companies as well, and I believe we chose them, even though they're a little bit more expensive, because they provide all of the services that we're, it's a soup to nuts kind of a
That's
proposal.
correct.
My concern with this is that is the exclusivity in this contract.
Okay.
And especially given our experience with having some difficulty finding acts and how long it took, if at some point they haven't delivered, we don't really have an option to go somewhere else to find something. So I'd feel a little bit more comfortable if there was a ending time on that exclusivity where we felt like we could still have the time to go out and find acts somewhere else.
If I could respond to that?
Sure.
So, to that is, they will be able to obtain acts throughout. If we had gone to them now, they would be able to. It would just be the caliber of events that might be available or the times that we decide to go. If we're pigeonholing ourselves to a certain weekend or a certain date, it might be more challenging the further we wait out. If for some reason the board does not approve a specific talent by a certain date, if we're a little bit more flexible with those dates, then I think that they can come back with still yet a high caliber of talent to bring back to us. I was just going to add too that the exclusivity does allow a little bit more staff control in the process, meaning that it's more efficient for both staff and the agency. We're dealing with one point of contact. With that, as opposed to working with multiple different agencies, and allows the staff to vet the process properly. And once again, as I mentioned before, it just makes it more efficient and more streamlined for us.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Ruzick.
I have a question. So we haven't determined the number. This is dependent
Correct.
upon the number that we
Correct. This is all contingent on whether or not the budget is.
Approve them in the budget.
We do not pay this talent agent one penny until we sign on the dotted line and agree upon an act, and we sign an agreement. And they can come to us with, 10, 15
Okay.
acts, and if we say no to all 10, 15 of them, we are not being charged for anything. It's just a matter of just starting to get someone in line so we can start the planning process, contingent, of course, on the board approving dollars for this.
Mr. Mayor, just a little light on. We talked about this in committee, and I think a couple of the things that we liked is that it's a local talent group, and the issue that you brought up, possibly getting in, and not having a good act. I feel like we learned a good lesson when we started to put a concert in February or March into the budget, that we needed more time. So I think starting this process, we learned that lesson, and now we're starting it as we speak or soon. So I don't think that's going to be an issue, and I don't think anyone in the committee had that issue. But I recognize that, but I think we learned our lesson. That's why we're starting early.
Right. If I could just add one more thing, if
Could I
if you may.
piggyback on that real quick? I might
yes,
be, I might be
absolutely.
follow, you
Yes,
might
please
be going exactly where
Please
I'm
do,
going,
please do.
which is, so one of the questions, Joe, is, because I heard it not only from Director Flores from Double D, but also from one of the groups that I had been introduced to, is that the process really needs to start now with budgeting and dates, and not December, not February, not March. So is that accurate?
Yeah, they in talking to Double D, they said that if we start sometime in September, and the latest we would want to secure something is probably beginning of December. So in order to get those high caliber dates and to get those, high caliber acts, and then also to be able to secure those dates. So really, they said that even right now, it's a little early, just because people are still doing their summer series. But if we started anywhere between September and December, or
So it would be
Lock
best,
one in
it would be
would be
best
good.
if we had our ducks in a row here in the next month or two, so that we could
Yes.
hit the ground running in September.
Exactly,
Is that correct?
exactly.
Okay.
And I guess I would just ask too, that as we've seen in our experience, that these acts, we have to make a decision fairly quickly. So my request of the board is, to give me some direction as to, if we secure an act, we may not be able to still have that act if we wait until we go directly to the, just depending on the timing of it.
Well, we experienced that, right? We lost
Right.
2 acts because
We
we had
lost
3
two acts
weeks
because of
between
that,
board
correct.
board meetings. We had 2 acts for 2 separate dates.
Correct.
And we lost both of them.
Right.
2 days before the
That-
board meeting, right? 2 business
that's
days
correct.
before the board
That's
meeting.
correct.
So,
That's correct.
okay. So ultimately, we'd like to start sooner with an approval with, hey, Joe, here's your parameters.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Carroll.
If I could direct the question to Mr. Lamargo, kind of following up on what the mayor said, I always presume everyone's going to operate in good faith on a contract, and so does the law, but if we get to that September, October, November, whatever, and they still haven't given us an act that we're good with, since there's no draft contract yet, could you ask legal to put some bailout clause that if whatever date
Absolutely.
we all decide, whatever it is, that we're not getting performance from them, that we can go out on our own and try and book somebody?
Absolutely. Just about with every, I believe with every agreement that we do with the village, there is always a
Bailout, yeah.
an exit clause on that
Yep.
thing, and there would be no cost.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea to have if you will, a drop dead date that we can move on.
One other question, am I correct that we have had experience with Double D in the past? We've used them for different concerts and
Yes.
performances, so we do have a history with them as well.
Right, we do, and we're very confident with utilizing them. As Trustee Calandrello stated, they are local. They'll be on site. They'll handle all the incidentals, the riders, I guess you'd call it, making sure that if someone needs green M&Ms, they're making sure that there's green M&Ms inside that bowl there. So
This will be our education.
yes, yeah, and they do have the caliber of bringing high axes. I want to just point out for the record for Trustee Calandrello that yes, they would be able to secure Tony Bennett should the village
Tony Bennett.
should the village want to pay for that.
He'll never live it down.
I just
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. We'll do our best to get that for you, Dan.
LaGrange Road Irrigation System Startup, Shutdown, and Maintenance Bid. Item G.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Calangelo.
I move to approve bid 18/025 LaGrange Road Irrigation System Startup and Shutdown Maintenance to Central Lawn Sprinklers of Elk Grove Village, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $11,000 for the year of 2018, $41,770 for 2019, $43,000 for 2020, and $44,300 for 2021.
Second.
Any comments or questions? So I have some comments and questions on this, Joe, as we talked about. So I'm uncomfortable with only one bidder for the sprinkler services. This kind of falls in line with the real estate thing that we did a couple of weeks back, especially when I look at the pricing of the bid, because obviously I have some knowledge of this industry. And an hourly labor rate that I see of $139 an hour is very high. Rotor heads, Mr. Heads, $60, $55 plus the labor. That's really high. I think anyone who has a sprinkler system would acknowledge that's the case. And piping at $5, I'm assuming per foot, and then fittings at $10. It just, the bid looks extremely high to me on the things that I can compare it to, and there's no other bids. So that's why I'm a bit uncomfortable with it. And I understand we use BidNet, but I also understand that a lot of sprinkler companies probably aren't on BidNet, so maybe it's something we should go back out for bid again, much like we were doing with the real estate.
Sure. And I did, Director Couch is on vacation this week, but I did talk to Bo, and who assisted and put this together, and he did agree, and we're fine with going back out to bid and everything, but in talking to Bo, he believes that one of the reasons why the cost could be a little bit higher than usual is because it is LaGrange Road, so there is more of that safety issue and trying to secure the traffic and all that stuff. And then I did not realize this, but he claims that there is the entire LaGrange Road has approximately a total of 1,400 sprinkler heads that the contractor will be responsible to maintain. So I think just the magnitude, but again, I'm not an expert at this. We can absolutely, I guess I would just ask the board if they could just reject the bid. Is that correct? They would need to reject the bid so we could go out to bid again?
Yes, if the board wants to go out to bid again, they would reject this bid and resubmit it for new bids.
Okay.
And I understand your point about how many heads there are and everything, and that's my point is that segment 1, 2, 3 that we see here, actually I've got segment 2 down here twice, but when I look at those, I don't necessarily have an apples-to-apples comparison because they're only bidder, but when I look at their labor rates and everything else, and I understand it's LaGrange Road, but they're really high.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We can absolutely.
And so that's what gives me pause.
Yeah. No.
Mr. Chairman?
Understood.
Trustee Carroll.
Just a suggestion. I'm looking at their bid response, and the contract for 2018 is only $11,000. Maybe we can ask Mr. Fricker, would it be acceptable to approve this year? Because they're already on contract from last year, so we're not holding up Parks and Rec for anything they might be doing, and then rebid it for the remaining years. Is that legal and is it acceptable?
Yeah, that would be appropriate if you want to proceed with this second.
Getting this year done it's a fraction of the cost of the other years, and we can.
Well, this year is just for shutdown.
Correct.
The other ones are for opening as well. But I understand where you're going. Rather than put us in a backlog going forward and having us in a scramble, I would be okay with that.
Okay.
Chairman Calendar is willing to amend that. I'd second that amendment.
Sure. This time I renew my motion. I move to approve the bid 18025 LaGrange Irrigation Startup Project and Shutdown to Central Lawn Sprinklers of Elk Grove Village for the year 2018 only, not to exceed $11,000, and reject all the following years.
Second is amended.
Are there any other questions or comments? The bid or the motion is put as amended, and call the roll.
Trustee Calendro.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
Aye.
2018 roadway parking lot, multi-use path, asphalt pavement maintenance bid award.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve accepting the bid from Advantage Paving Solutions, Inc. of Joliet, Illinois for the 2018 roadway parking lot multi-use path asphalt pavement maintenance project in the amount not to exceed $825,000, which equals $573,243.50 plus $251,756.50 in contingency.
Second.
Any-
Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to state with this, this is a savings from what we budgeted originally, and because of the savings that we're going to have, we're going to be able to do projects that we had planned for 2019 and 2018.
That's great. And my understanding on that front from talking, sitting at the COGS, both the Southwest Conference of Mayors and the South Suburban Mayors and Managers, that these bids all over are coming in very low. So this is not just an experience, something Orland Park is experiencing, so we'll probably see more of it. So good news for all of us. Any questions or comments? My only question is the 50% contingency, roughly 45% contingency. Just want to understand it. And was that a contingency for everybody?
It's allows us to utilize the money to do that extra work that Trustee Fenton was referring to.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? The motion is put as read. Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Calendro.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
Aye.
I-80 and Wolf Road Interchange, concept study, professional engineering services.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Ruzick.
I move to approve entering into a contract with V3 Companies of Woodridge, Illinois, in the amount not to exceed $42,500 for the I-80 and Wolf Road Interchange concept study.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Carroll.
My only question is, have we had any recent interaction with the Village of Mokina as to what their position is on such an interchange? If you know.
Yes. So we've had significant conversation about this, and they have a split board at this time and don't have the votes for it, but it is a very closely split board. The mayor is supportive. He has a board that is not completely supportive yet, and essentially one of the things that may help them is actually having some facts on the table, may help them in this regard. And so we felt that at this point, rather than delay it any further, we should get some points on the board on this, just in case something happens with that $11.2 billion that the governor announced today. If that suddenly becomes available, we want to have our ducks in a row so that we can jump on it quickly.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Ruzick.
So this was up tonight at the Development Services Committee, and we talked about it, and, there were questions along those lines as well. And I think the thinking was that we've always thought that this interchange would be at Wolf and I-80, but we don't really even know if it's feasible for sure from our standpoint. So the idea is, let's find out for sure, our side of the fence, and then take it from there. And obviously, this is an important interchange to the development of the I-80 corridor down the road. So that's why we decided, that we thought it was a good idea with or without Mokina's involvement.
And if I should add as well, there is a new I-80 coalition that we are a part of that goes from I-55 and I-80, and it goes to Route 30, but where there's a big push amongst Mokina, Tinley Park, and us who are part of it as well to get it expanded down, since we are also in Will County, to get it expanded all the way down to Harlem. And I think there's a general agreement that somewhere between LaGrange Road and 355, there should be another interchange. The question really is where, and to Trustee Ruzick's point, we're not even sure with the tanks and everything if Wolf Road is the right place. Maybe it's a little bit further to the west, maybe it's a little bit further to the east, but this process should help us find that out so that we can start putting a stake in the ground as to what we should be looking at in the future.
Okay.
Anything else? Call a roll.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calendro.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Nay.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
(2018) Taste of Orland Park Budget Adjustment.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Calendro.
I move to approve a budget adjustment to the general fund revenues amount of $75,000 and a budget adjustment in the general fund expenditures not to exceed $75,000.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Calendro.
Just a little back story. I want to tell staff that doing a really good job. I wish Nancy was here, but she could hear my kudos from staff here that we challenged them. We had a challenging budget. We cut a lot of programs, 13 of them, and we said, find us the money. And they found a great sponsorship, and there's other things down the pipe. So I just want to thank them for finding the money. So I guess they showed us the money, but we need these sponsorships in order to provide these programs, because there's conversations about a 3-day taste or 2-day taste, and they found the sponsorship and they're running with it. So I just want to thank them for that and they saved a lot of rec programs based on these sponsorships, and I'm very proud of them for doing that.
We're not done yet. We are in negotiations with a couple other people that we're not at liberty to talk about at this point in time, but we're not done yet trying to find additional sponsorship dollars for our upcoming events.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Ruzick.
So, Joe, I wanted to clarify, we're not spending $70,000 more on the taste.
No.
This
No,
is just
no, we're not. No, we're not.
offsetting-
Right, exactly.
Offsetting the village's
Yes,
subsidy.
the subsidy,
of
right, exactly,
taste. Okay.
exactly, just to make sure
Thank
that
you.
we, yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
And Tony Bennett.
So I would like to echo the statement of Trustee Calendrello about congratulations to staff for doing a really good job on this. And I know that Manager Lamargo and I have worked on this a bunch, and we've talked to a few different businesses, both independently as well. And there have been some other things that we've actually offset in the budget as well, which we've talked about, not at this dollar amount, but and there will be more of it going forward. So, and also I really want to say thank you to the business community for stepping up and supporting the community that they live in. And so in this particular case, it's one company, but there's a lot of companies that are doing that. So, kudos to them as well for getting involved in our community. So we all really appreciate it. Call the roll.
Trustee Calendro.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Amend operating and closing hours Sunday for golf courses ordinance.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
ordinance number?
5308.
Move to pass ordinance number 5308, entitled an ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 4, Section 15, opening and closing hours.
Second.
To give you some background on this, this was a request from Silver Lakes Golf Course to allow for serving alcohol on the golf course at 10 o'clock instead of 11. As we dug into this, as we do often with the liquors, because the liquor licensing is very complicated, as are the laws, we found out that actually we allow 9 o'clock on Sunday, generally speaking, and but not on golf courses. We never identified golf courses. So this is just to make it 10 o'clock per the request of Silver Lakes, and it's still an hour past our normal time that we allow other restaurants to serve, which is 9 o'clock.
Mr. Chairman. So we're not really changing closing hours at all, even though that's how it's written. It's just addressing the earlier start.
Just opening hours on Sunday.
Okay.
Section 15 is called opening and closing hours. Yeah.
It's just amending that section. It says opening and closing hours, but we're only amending the opening hours. Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Calendro.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye. So we have non-scheduled citizens and visitors. Ray Alt from St. Michael's Parish.
Parish Pastoral Council. In my comments reference previously printed copies delivered to each of you prior to the last meeting. And on behalf of St. Michael, I ask allowance of digital signs to be added to the ongoing Land Development Code Amendment, Section 6307. Doing so would enable St. Michael's to move forward in pursuit of a digital sign, which will enable us to reach out to people with God's word, inviting those experiencing challenges and difficulties in their lives at this moment to turn to God rather than possibly seeking other gospel alternatives, like a lot of the youth are doing in terms of pursuing drugs and so on. The aesthetic concerns can be addressed through skillfully crafted sign code parameters. I listened to the April meeting of Development Services online, and there were some great discussions, and I offer this very respectfully. And when that issue came up, where people were concerned with the aesthetic appearances, there was a statement made by the project manager that those issues could be addressed, the aesthetic issues. And I subscribe to that. That definitely can be written into the code. St. Michael's proposed sign includes architectural treatments, which are sometimes apparent prior to even recognizing it as a digitally operated sign. And I provided a rendering of that in the material that I delivered to each of you a few weeks ago. Additionally, historical data, which we now have but we didn't used to have, now shows that commercial areas can experience business increases and lower operating costs. And then taking that efficiency and turning their attention to taking care of customers and so on. The village could experience increased tax revenue because of business increases. And businesses are struggling with the changes in product purchasing and delivery models because of things like the ones who are ordering online and then free delivery and so on. So that delivery model has changed.
1 minute.
Yes, I guess.
Just 1 minute left.
In addition to the points previously outlined in the material you previously received, digital signs can enable the village itself to strategically place signs for people's safety and welfare. And that can be a great big issue. They can be used for weather alerts, amber alerts, those fleeing law enforcement within and outside the village. We have a main drag here, certainly in Range Road, and there are other east and west ones as well. But it enables the village not only to protect its own citizens, but also to join forces with adjacent towns and villages. Recent technological advances enable individual devices to be controlled through secure internet connections. You no longer need Wi-Fi. So you can control that from a distance, even if you're in California. But the basic point is they can be controlled from law enforcement headquarters, fire department headquarters, the village itself. And I think by the village, these entities of the village getting together and thinking about what they can do to protect the citizens, I think would bear good fruit. Distance, again, is not an obstacle. If you have any questions for me at all, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, and thank you for allowing me.
And I guess the only comment that I would have is that our commenting would probably be premature because it just hit the committee. It hasn't hit the board floor yet. So when it hits the board floor, I think we'll have some comments to make on it. But right now, it would probably be premature, at least from my perspective. Any board comments, Trustee Gura?
I would just also like to congratulate Director Flores on the adjustment to the taste budget. I think that's well done, and the young people that were here tonight to demonstrate their scholarships, the Chick Evans Scholars and the other young man with the state championship. It's wonderful to see young people accomplishing such great things.
Trustee Carroll.
No comments, thank you.
Trustee Ruzick.
Only one comment. It's more of a question. Could we have someone look at the air conditioning in this room? It's either freezing or boiling within a matter of like 20 minutes. Sorry, but it's freezing.
Better now than I did an hour ago.
Complaint that it was cold, I turned it
I know.
on, and then it got warm, we turned it down. Get it
No other comments.
Trustee Calandrello.
Just want to congratulate staff. Staff again was at the Mark of the Park. It was great. The new format of the tweaking has really livened up that audience, and it's very good to see the community coming together, and the whole community, all different demographics. You have young families dancing. You have others looking at the cars. So it's a really good mix and combination. Again, I wish Nancy was here because she's getting praises but above and beyond anything I could have expected. So I want to thank that and thank the board for supporting Nancy and her quest to bring these programs with limited resources she has, the part-time resources she has. That's her whole department. So I make sure Nancy gets this recording, I guess. So thank you.
Trustee Fenn.
To go along with the Crescent Park where the market's held, there's also a concert coming up this Sunday. It's Jazz in the Park, so just remind all the residents, and it's free, so everybody can bring your chair and have a good time. I'd also like to just remind everybody that now that the construction season for the Village of Orland Park has started in all the neighborhoods, to be very careful when you're driving through, not only for the construction workers, but also for the kids who are out and about and curious about the trucks and looking around different things, just to be very cautious of where you're driving with all the construction that's going on in the neighborhoods.
The comments that I have, one is, I know it's been announced in the newspaper, but not on the board floor, the CREATE program, which is for the Metra flyover, which will eventually allow us to get express trains, received a federal grant that was asked for by the state, and essentially this will allow for the first 2 phases of 4 to be completed, plus all 4 to be engineered. It's about half of the total project, but it's a little over $500 million that is going towards this phase, and it will unclog the freight traffic when these phases are done, but it won't allow for express trains, but the future 2 phases will. So that's a really positive news for Orland Park, because once we complete the other 2 phases, we will actually probably be one of the only suburbs in the Chicagoland area that have actually access to 2 train stations with 2 train lines within 10 minutes that have express trains. None of the other areas can tout that. So good news for Orland Park. Also, there's a lot of events that are upcoming. The Market on the Park every Thursday from 4 to 8. I will challenge Joe for you to find a Tony Bennett tribute individual just for Trustee Calandrello, and let us know so we can all be there. The first concert in the park, like Trustee Fenton said, is be this 24th at Crescent Park from 5:30 to 7:30. Also, you have Cookout with the Cops at Veterans Park on the 25th. The Veterans Run and Walk will be held on July 3rd. I think it's about 7 p.m. So, and then the Independence Day celebration is on July 4th, starting at 7:15. So a lot of good events. There's other events coming up as well, but those are some of the highlights. So with that, I'll take a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to go into executive session for A, approval of minutes, B, pending litigation against, affecting, or on behalf of the village when found by the board that such action is probable or imminent.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Imminent.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
I don't know why I have so many packets. Somebody must know something.
People here, so.
Okay, does this sound good? I authorize the village manager to execute a retainer agreement with Edelson PC and Peterson Johnson and Murphy Chicago LLC into a retainer agreement. Is that good?
It's over. Your hair is safe.
I don't think we're waiting for anyone.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to reconvene the meeting?
So
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Calangelo.
I make motion, I authorize the village mayor to execute the village into a retainer agreement with Ellison PC and Peterson Johnson and Murphy Chicago LLC regarding retainer agreement of a lawsuit.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
for purposes of Mr. Fricker, should that motion include what the litigation's over, or do we not have to?
I can't hear you, I'm
Do
sorry.
we have to indicate in the motion what the litigation matter is at all, or just reference the fact that we're entering into an agreement?
Well, I think just a general description of the subject matter.
Sure, I'll amend it, so I'll do it from the start.
Calangelo.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, I authorize the village mayor to execute a retainer agreement with Ellison PC and Peterson Johnson and Murray Chicago LLC to enter into a relationship regarding potential lawsuit regarding opiate matter and abuses in the village.
Do I hear a second?
No, second, sorry.
So, any questions or comments? So the motion is put as amended. Call the roll.
Trustee Calendrella.
Aye.
Trustee Gira.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Rusick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Nay. Motion carries 5-1. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.